All right, so what does it mean when Senator Ed Markey publicly posts invoke the 25th Amendment on social media on January 20th, 2026, after reports emerged that Trump texted Norway's prime minister saying not getting the Nobel Peace Prize freed him to focus less on peace and more on grabbing Greenland for the U.S.?
The emergency the United States of America is facing tonight is an emergency that he is mentally incapable and emotionally incapable of fulfilling his constitutional duties as President of the United States. In other words, there is no President of the United States as we knew it. Much of the news media made the mistake of believing that all of the American commanding generals and admirals were being summoned to Quantico, Virginia to listen to the small man of small experience who is currently the Secretary of Defense. That was obviously a fraudulent
When Newsweek and other outlets report numerous Democrats are now calling to remove Trump under the 25th Amendment over Greenland, arguing his threats to annex territory even by force show he might be unfit to serve and could pose danger to national security. When Senator Ruben Gallego introduces resolution to block Trump from invading Greenland, saying wake up and warning Congress must act before he potentially recklessly invades another nation, while senators in both parties predict votes to rein in Trump's Greenland plans? When CNN and others describe Democrats' internal debate over whether to move now on impeachment and 25th Amendment measures, with some arguing Trump will likely be impeached if Republicans lose Congress in 2026, and that Greenland behavior should be part of the case, when the 25th Amendment would allow potentially instant removal if Vice President Vance and Cabinet act versus slower impeachment route, yeah, that means Senate might be demanding Trump's instant removal, not over old scandals, but over current actions. Specifically, his Greenland obsession that senators say could demonstrate dangerous unfitness, requiring immediate intervention before he potentially drags nation into catastrophic military adventure. And here's why this matters so much. Because senators aren't threatening future impeachment over past actions. They're demanding potential instant removal now over current conduct they characterize as evidence of mental unfitness. That's 25th Amendment territory. Not high crimes requiring impeachment trial, but potential inability to discharge duties requiring cabinet and VP to declare president unable to serve. And senators publicly calling for this, introducing resolutions to block possible Greenland invasion, creating comprehensive Senate response to what they characterize as Trump's dangerous judgment manifesting through bizarre Greenland fixation combined with Venezuela military action, creating pattern senators say might require immediate removal before Trump could drag nation into more conflicts through judgment they claim is severely impaired. Think about what that means. The 25th Amendment is designed for situations where president becomes unable to discharge duties, not through criminality, but through mental or physical incapacity. Greenland obsession triggering these calls through potentially demonstrating concerning mental state. Trump's reported fixation on acquiring Greenland, allegedly threatening military seizure, supposedly texting Norway's PM about Peace Prize connection, all possibly suggesting mental state concerning enough that senators are arguing it might rise to 25th Amendment standard of inability to discharge duties safely. That's not saying Trump committed crime. That's claiming his judgment could be so impaired he potentially can't safely exercise presidential powers, especially military authority. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built John Brown Show, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you appreciate what we're doing here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. All right, let's get back to the video. Now let's break down Trump's reported text to Norway's PM, because if accurate, this could be particularly concerning evidence. According to reports, Trump texted foreign leader about how not getting Nobel Peace Prize supposedly freed him to focus on territorial conquest of Greenland. That would be bizarre connection. Linking Peace Prize rejection to territorial seizure doesn't follow normal logical patterns. If Trump actually said this, it might suggest he viewed Peace Prize as constraint on aggressive territorial expansion and not receiving it as permission for conquest. That could be deeply concerning worldview from president who controls military, potentially suggesting vengeful conquest-oriented mindset that Peace Prize rejection apparently unleashed, or he claims it did. and numerous Democrats calling for 25th Amendment removal shows this might not be isolated sentiment. According to reporting, it's not just Senator Markey, it's numerous Democrats all calling for same thing: invoke 25th Amendment to remove Trump over Greenland threats. That coordination could suggest organized effort to build pressure for 25th invocation, creating political movement among Democrats to pursue fitness-based removal over Greenland conduct. And their argument that threats to annex, even by force, show unfitness and danger combines two concerns. Unfitness addresses 25th Amendment standard of potential inability to discharge duties, while danger addresses urgency of possibly removing before more harm done. Share this video with everyone you know, because Senator Gallego's resolution to block invasion shows Congress taking legislative action beyond just calling for removal. Resolution would potentially require congressional authorization before Trump could order military action against Greenland, creating legal barrier that might prevent Trump from acting on obsession without Congress approving. And Gallego's wake-up language creates urgency. He's essentially telling colleagues they need to urgently recognize threat before Trump actually attempts invasion that could create international crisis with NATO ally Denmark. And his warning about recklessly invading another nation connects Greenland to Venezuela pattern. Another nation means Greenland would potentially be second after Venezuela. Pattern of what senators characterize as reckless invasions without congressional authorization, without international support, without strategic justification beyond Trump's personal obsessions. That pattern is what senators argue must be stopped before it possibly continues, with Greenland becoming third or fourth in series of Trump's alleged military adventures. Now let's talk about both parties reportedly predicting votes on Greenland constraints. Democrats obviously concerned, but reporting suggests some Republicans too might be recognizing need to constrain Trump on Greenland. Potential bipartisan vote on resolution blocking invasion would send powerful message that Congress across party lines could be rejecting Trump's Greenland plans, creating political barrier even if legal questions remain about congressional power to actually block president's military decisions. And Democrats' strategic debate over impeachment versus 25th Amendment paths reveals the complexity. They're discussing which mechanism might be better for potentially removing Trump. Impeachment is proven path but takes months through House vote and Senate trial. 25th could theoretically be instant if cabinet cooperates, but requires VP Vance and cabinet majority declaring Trump unfit, which seems unlikely given Trump's loyalist cabinet. It's strategic choice between slow but more certain path and fast but highly uncertain path. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show, because the prediction that Trump will be impeached if Republicans lose 2026 creates clear electoral timeline. According to Democratic predictions, if they win House and Senate in 2026 midterms, Trump will likely face impeachment, not necessarily if he commits new offenses, but because Democrats would have power to impeach for existing conduct, including Greenland behavior. That creates electoral stakes where 2026 results could determine Trump's impeachment fate, making midterms potential referendum on Trump's presidency and accountability. And Greenland being part of cumulative case rather than sole ground shows comprehensive approach. Democrats appear to be building comprehensive impeachment case that might include Venezuela, unauthorized military action, Epstein scandals, court defiance challenges, all potentially culminating in Greenland obsession as latest most visible evidence. Using Greenland not as only charge, but as most recent example in pattern of conduct that could warrant removal. Now let's address the procedural distinction between 25th Amendment and impeachment, because this matters for understanding Senate's demands. The 25th Amendment doesn't require congressional votes or trials, just needs VP and cabinet majority signing declaration that president is unable to discharge duties. Once signed, VP immediately becomes acting president and Trump would be immediately removed from power. That's instant in constitutional terms compared to impeachment's months-long process requiring House majority vote, then Senate trial requiring 2/3 supermajority for conviction. And that speed advantage could be crucial if Trump poses what senators view as immediate danger. If they believe Trump might actually order Greenland invasion imminently, impeachment might be too slow to prevent it. The 25th could theoretically remove Trump before he can act if cabinet agrees he's potentially unfit. That immediacy is why Democrats are calling for 25th over Greenland. They may believe Trump could act soon, requiring faster removal mechanism than impeachment provides. But the likelihood of cabinet actually invoking 25th is extremely low. Vance is Trump loyalist. Cabinet members are all Trump appointees loyal to him. Chance they would declare Trump unfit is essentially zero despite Democratic calls. This makes 25th politically unrealistic even if procedurally faster, meaning impeachment is likely only viable path despite being slower, potentially requiring Democrats to wait until 2026 elections might give them congressional power to impeach and remove. Yet senators using both threats simultaneously shows strategic value. Even if 25th is unlikely, even if Vance and cabinet won't invoke it, Democratic calls for it could create political pressure by highlighting fitness concerns. Combined with Gallego's resolution, with impeachment threats, with Venezuela war powers constraints, it creates comprehensive congressional pressure, potentially boxing Trump in from multiple directions through multiple constitutional mechanisms, all aimed at possibly constraining or removing him for Greenland and related conduct. Now let's connect Greenland to Venezuela and NATO fears, because this shows potential international pattern. Greenland threat allegedly isn't isolated. It follows Venezuela unauthorized military operation that captured Maduro. NATO allies watching Venezuela, watching Greenland threats, potentially fearing pattern where Trump might use military force against countries he obsesses over without congressional authorization or international support. That pattern could be terrifying for allies who depend on American stability. And NATO allies reported fear that Trump will export Venezuela model to Greenland or Cuba creates potential alliance crisis. If Trump actually invaded Greenland like he invaded Venezuela, it could trigger NATO Article 4 consultation at minimum, since Denmark is NATO ally. It might even trigger Article 5 collective defense obligation if Denmark requested, which would create unprecedented crisis where American president is attacking NATO ally, potentially forcing alliance to respond possibly against America. That catastrophic scenario is what NATO allies may fear and what senators are trying to prevent through removal efforts. So here's where this leaves us. Senate potentially demanding Trump's instant removal over Greenland conduct through coordinated 25th Amendment calls, through legislative resolutions that might block invasion, through connecting to Venezuela pattern, through possible bipartisan concerns, all creating comprehensive congressional response to Greenland obsession that senators characterize as possible evidence of presidential unfitness. While actual 25th invocation seems unlikely given cabinet composition, the demands could create political pressure and build case for future impeachment, while legislative constraints might try preventing immediate Greenland invasion pending removal efforts. And the larger constitutional question is whether 25th Amendment can ever work against unwilling president. The amendment requires VP and cabinet agreement, creating structural barrier that protects president from removal unless own appointees agree he's unfit. Trump's cabinet being Trump loyalists means that barrier is practically insurmountable despite what senators claim are legitimate fitness concerns. That structural protection means 25th is unlikely to ever be used against unwilling president regardless of fitness concerns, potentially requiring impeachment as realistic removal path despite being slower. All right, that's it for today. If you want to stay on top of stories like this, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Do you think cabinet would ever invoke 25th Amendment over Greenland? Or is this political strategy to build impeachment case? Because honestly, this is almost certainly political strategy as far as 25th succeeding. Vance and cabinet are Trump loyalists who likely won't declare him unfit regardless of Greenland obsession, reported Peace Prize texts, Venezuela pattern, or anything else. The 25th requires cabinet cooperation that's practically impossible when cabinet members all owe positions to president they'd be removing. Stay tuned.